Hey guys, how you all doing? Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm filming my October wrap-up. So I know that this is like pretty late considering we are halfway through November now, but I've been busy. It's NaNoWriMo. I just haven't gotten around to filming this. I didn't read that much in the month of October, despite having 2 readathons happening, one of which I was supposed to be co-hosting, but we'll get into that. So let's just get into the video. The first readathon that I was participating in was the Gilmore-a-thon, which was hosted by a few lovely people here on BookTube. I read a few things for that. So the first book that I read was Talking as Fast as I Can by Lauren Graham. I listened to this on audio, and this was the group book for the readathon. This is like kind of like a memoir all about Lauren Graham, who plays Lorelai in the TV show Gilmore Girls, which is one of my favorite TV shows of all time. I love Lorelai, I love Lauren Graham. I listened to the audiobook because I love Lauren Graham's voice, and so listening to this audiobook was wonderful. It was really quick. It was a really small audiobook, so it's a really short book. I really enjoyed hearing her story from her own words. The best way to read memoirs and stuff like that, because typically the person reads the audiobook for you. Yes, I think the only downfall of listening to an audiobook like this is you can't see the pictures, and I didn't have the copy of the book with me as I was listening to the audiobook, and I still haven't flipped through the pictures, but there would be times where she would like reference a picture and I'd be like, I can't see it. That kind of sucked, but I will eventually flip through these pictures because I still haven't done that. I always enjoy learning more about celebrities that I enjoy like watching movies from and stuff, and just learning more about them and seeing kind of where they began and their struggles, because it kind of makes them feel more real, because we only know celebrities at like face value. We don't know much about them. We think we do, but we don't, and it's just nice to hear them like from their own words, coming from their own voice, and learning more about them from themselves. And I just really enjoyed learning more about her, because I literally didn't know anything about Lauren Graham before going into this. I really enjoyed learning more about her. My favorite parts were when she mentioned Gilmore Girls and talked about the experience of Gilmore Girls, and despite me not loving the revival, I really enjoyed when she was talking about the revival, because I was always very interested in how that came to be and how hard that must have been to get all the actors there for it. And I just remember like it happening, so it was cool to hear it from like her point of view. But besides that, I wasn't like too interested in everything else that she was talking about. Like I said, I do enjoy learning more about celebrities and stuff like that, but I was particularly interested in the Gilmore Girls stuff. That's kind of the reason why I would want to read this book. But anyways, I gave this one a 3.75 out of 5 stars. And the next book I don't want to talk about too much because I've talked about it on my channel so many times, but that is Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell. This is one of my favorite books of all time. If you don't know what it's about, it's basically follow our main character, Kath, and she is starting her freshman year of college, and she suffers with anxiety, and she kind of goes into college. Her twin sister, Ren, is going her own way, doesn't want to room with Kath, is kind of finding herself, so Kath is kind of left to deal with her anxiety and deal with starting college for the first time and meeting new people. And it's just a wonderful story, and I connect to it so much because of the anxiety in it, and it's just it's such a good book. The relationship is so cute, and it's just such a fun story. Yeah, I don't really have much more to say about this book because I've talked about it so many times, but 5 out of 5 stars, obviously one of my favorite books, and it is now signed by Rainbow Rowell because I just met her, and I'm just so happy. The next book that I read was To All the Boys I've Loved Before by Jenny Han, another reread, and another one I'm not going to talk about too much, but if you don't know what this book is about, we follow our main character, Lara Jean, and she writes love letters to crushes. When she doesn't want to crush on them anymore, she puts them away in a hat box, and then one day they get sent out, so all these boys find out about her crush, read her letters, and she kind of has to deal with the consequences of those letters and what is inside them. And I really love this book. I annotated it, which was super fun, and I really enjoyed doing that. And I think this is my first time reading the book after the movies come out, which was really interesting because I completely forgot some things in this book that made it into the movie, that when I was watching the movie I thought it was brand new. Like the Korean yogurt drink that Kitty and Lara Jean love that Peter gets for Lara Jean in the movie. I totally forgot that that was like something that happened in this book. So I don't know, I just really enjoyed like making those little connections from the movie to the book that I didn't notice the first time watching the movie, which was really cool. I gave this one a 5 out of 5 stars. It's so cute. For some reason though, it did take me a bit longer to get into this book than it normally does, which was really weird. For some reason I just wasn't connecting with it at the beginning, but by the end, obsessed. 5 out of 5 stars. I love this book. And then the last book that I read for the Gilmore-a-thon was The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins, which is another reread. I really did not help my TBR situation in October, but it's fine. The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. Peyton is probably screaming on the other side of this screen right now, but I read this book and this is my first time rereading it since I think Mockingjay Part 1 came out. I think that's the last time I reread this series. I was back in like, what, 2014? It's been a long time. And I annotated this one. It's all tabbed up. It's annotated. I had such a good time rereading this book and annotating it. It's something that I've been wanting to do for such a long time, and I finally allowed myself to do it because I just bought a new box set of the books at a thrift store, and I just had such a good time annotating it. Like, I made so many jokes, and I'm so happy. I might do an annotation flip through of this book. But I just had so many funny jokes that I was sending to my friends as I was reading. The book has been out for so long, so if you don't want spoilers, skip ahead, but like, spoilers. There's a part where all the tributes find out that they are allowing for there to be 2 victors for this Hunger Game if they come from the same district. So Katniss immediately wants to find Peeta and yells out Peeta's name, and then goes to try to find him, and I made a joke saying, "Let's get this bread," because his name's Peeta. Is that like the lamest joke I've ever made? Yes. Is it extremely hilarious to me? Yes. I make myself laugh. It's fine. But I really enjoyed returning to this world and seeing all these characters again. I really enjoyed it. And I also kind of forgot like how amazing Peeta is. Like, don't get me wrong, I've always loved Peeta, okay? I know how amazing Peeta is, but I feel like the movies watered him down so much, and I feel like I've never noticed that before. Like, I've never noticed how much they watered Peeta's character down. He's so funny and so amazing, and I love Peeta. How does anybody like Gale? I don't understand. I don't think many people like Gale, but I know there are people who do. I don't get it. Okay, because Peeta is life, but I haven't had time to like continue rereading the series yet, but I cannot wait until I do because I've just had such a good time with this one, and I loved it so much. So definitely, obviously, 5 out of 5 stars. And now we're getting to the Jackathon books. So this is a readathon that I was co-hosting with Peyton and Julia, but unfortunately I fell sick at the very beginning of the readathon, and I wasn't able to fully participate like I wanted to. I didn't have the energy to do the photo challenges, I didn't have the energy to interact on Twitter or on Instagram or any of that, and I didn't really have the energy to read. When I'm sick, it's game over. Like, I just watch TV. I don't do anything because I can't focus on a book. But I did read 2 graphic novels that were on my TBR, but besides that I failed. It's fine. I read Pumpkinheads by Rainbow Rowell and Faith Erin Hicks. This was our group book for the readathon, so I hope you guys joined in with us. I really enjoyed this graphic novel. If you don't know what it's about, we follow 2 characters, Deja and Josie, and they work at this pumpkin patch every single like Halloween fall time, and this is their last day at the pumpkin patch. It's Halloween. They are going off to college so they can no longer work at the pumpkin patch, and it's just about them like trying to like have this big grand adventure on their last day, and it's just so cute. This art style, I don't know, man, this art style is just so beautiful, and I really enjoyed it. I feel like I wouldn't have enjoyed this book nearly as much if it was an actual novel, because there were just so many things that you just have to see in picture form. Like, I don't think it would have come across the same in a novel format, so I'm really happy that this is what they decided to do. I also have this one signed by both Faith Erin Hicks and Rainbow Rowell, which is really exciting, but I really enjoyed this graphic novel. Definitely, I think, one of my favorite graphic novels, just purely because the story was cute and the book, like the art itself, was like really adorable. Like, I would definitely read more graphic novels like this, and I honestly think that Faith Erin Hicks and Rainbow Rowell should work together again and adapt all of Rainbow's books into graphic novels. This one was a 4 out of 5 stars. But also, another thing that I liked that I didn't mention is I do like that our main character, Deja, who is my favorite, likes both boys and girls. I don't know what her actual sexuality is. It's never stated, but it is like mentioned throughout the book, or through the graphic novel, that she's had both girlfriends and boyfriends. So, and the last thing I read was Mooncakes by Wendy Zhu and Suzanne Walker. This was another graphic novel. I don't really know how to describe it to you, but it's basically about like witches, and like there's a non-binary werewolf who I really enjoyed their character. There was lesbian grandmas, like lots of representation in this book that I really enjoyed seeing. The art style of this graphic novel was really beautiful, and probably one of my favorite parts of the graphic novel. Unfortunately, this is not what I was expecting this graphic novel to be. I didn't really know what it was going into it besides what I just told you, but like everyone was raving about it and saying how adorable it was, and I was just I don't really know what I was expecting, but this wasn't it. I don't know. I did enjoy aspects of it. I did enjoy the relationship between our main character and the non-binary werewolf, who I can't remember their name. I'm sorry. I did not take like good notes and I don't own a copy. Yeah, I feel like one of my biggest gripes, which isn't really a gripe, but it's just the relationship happened really quickly, and I do understand like you have a small graphic novel, small like time to develop like a relationship, and I do understand that like the main characters did know each other as they were growing up, and did have crushes on each other growing up. I think that's what happened. So like I'm not like too annoyed with it, but I was just kind of like, oh, that happened real quick, because like near the beginning of the book they're like reunited, like they haven't seen each other in a really long time, and then they all of a sudden are like kissing, and I'm like, oh, great. I mean, it's not that bad, but it's just something that was like a little annoying, but like not enough to like ruin the book or like ruin the experience. But for some reason the story, like the actual plot of this graphic novel, wasn't what I was expecting, and I kind of wanted something cuter from it. But I did still really enjoy this graphic novel. I just have a hard time in general connecting with graphic novels, but I gave this one a 3.75 out of 5 stars. So that's everything that I read in the month of October. It wasn't much. I really wish that I had read more, but like I said, I was sick. Prep-tober for NaNoWriMo. A lot of things were happening in October. Didn't have as much time as I was hoping to. I didn't read like none of these were spooky books. Like I didn't read anything on my like TBR for the like spooky season, but whatever. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a huge thumbs up if you did enjoy. Comment down below what you guys read in October and what you were planning on reading for November or for the rest of the year. Subscribe if you have not yet already, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!